There is a certain gaminess kind of verging on um, what I always lovingly call Mer de Lapin. Anyone? French?
Rabbit Chef.
Rabbit. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of barnyardish kind of gaminess. And that is inherent in the grape itself. It's also inherent in how they make it. So the Wine Century Club is essentially, the goal is for you to taste 100 different cultivars or grapes over whatever time you set. There's somewhere over 10,000 different unique cultivars of grapes out there in the world that we make into wine. There are 7 varietals that make up 93% of all the wine that is consumed in the United States. That leaves what? 9,993 that are unaccounted for, that make up 7% of what we consume. So the idea behind that was to get people to explore other varietals. But tonight we are going to do 7 varietals that for most of you are going to be brand new. Well, they're not your normal grapes. They are outside of the realm of what most people drink. So the most recognizable one is probably Mourvèdre. That's one we're going to start with. And then we're going to do Cinsault, Pais, which a lot of you have probably had, but you didn't know it. Trousseau Noir, maybe you've had it. Trousseau Gris, you've almost definitely had it. If you drank wine at all in the 70s or the 80s, you probably had Trousseau Gris. You just didn't know it because they would put it into something else. And then Orange Trava, which is arguably my favorite grape here tonight. And then Assyrtiko, which is my second favorite, only because I get to say ass a lot. Here's our first wine. This is mostly a grape. This is 90% a grape called Mourvèdre. But if you see Mataro or Monastrell, it is Mourvèdre. Mourvèdre is the grape. Its spiritual home is kind of the Mediterranean, Iberian-ish peninsula. So in France, Provence, Languedoc, moving around then into kind of by Barcelona in Spain, and then inland in Spain a little bit. So in Spain, it's almost always called Monastrell. In France, it's called Mourvèdre. What do you smell?
Leather.
Leather. What else?
Black cherry. Blackberry.
There's some black fruit, yeah. There is a certain gaminess kind of verging on what I always lovingly call Mer de Lapin. Anyone? French?
Yep. Rabbit Chef.
Rabbit. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of barnyardish kind of gaminess. And that is inherent in the grape itself. It's also inherent in how they make it. So once you get it in the mouth, Mourvèdre's main characteristic is that tannin. The dry, dusty tannin that is uber present in Mourvèdre is kind of the signature calling card of wines from Bandol. All right, we're going to go on to the next wine. Any other questions on Mourvèdre? Mark one off. You're down to 99. You have ever had Cinsault before? In Spain, it's called Samso, but this is Cinsault. This is another, like Mourvèdre, this is another French, Spanish kind of indigenous varietal. So this vineyard was planted in 1888 or 1886. These are old, gnarled, bush-trained vines. There's no kind of structure to the vine whatsoever. Think of them, I mean, they look like a bush, right? And the trunks are now about this big. And if you've ever been to a vineyard, you know that most vines are about that big, right? So these are massive, mammoth things. So this is Cinsault. What do you think? What's it smell like? Violets? It is really perfumed. The older the vine gets, it loses complexity, it gains in complexity, but it loses yield really quickly. So this, he might be lucky to get a bottle and a half per vine off of it. There are only probably about 1,000 cases of this made, right? So it's fairly small production. And it takes every bit of that vineyard to pull off that, because these don't yield very much grapes anymore. This is the world's most boring grape. No, so this is a grape called Pais. Pais was originally from Spain. Now, here is this grape typifies a lot of what really gets me off about wine, because it is this intersection of culture and religion and people and places. The reason that we have Pais in the Americas is because the Spanish brought it with them. And you would usually find it planted in the back of the monastery or in the back of the church. So the Spanish brought it to the United States, where they then North and South America, where then it was mostly used as sacramental wine. This is not wine to sit and analyze. It really is not. This is like party time. Break out the cheap glasses, because you're going to break them all.
Camping wine.
Yeah, exactly. And right. So this is, you're exactly thinking along the lines of what the average Chilean is. Trousseau Noir, better known as Bastardo. Portugal, they call it Bastardo. That's really the only place. It is a wine that we will sometimes find blended into port, but for the most part, Trousseau Noir we find in the Jura in France. That is its spiritual home. That is where it's originally come from. Now, for those of you that have already tried it, does it taste the way it looks?
Yeah.
It is a perfect cool climate grape, mostly found in the Jura. How many of you like it?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah? It's a little harder to love. It's a little harder to get into. Ben, do you like it? Yeah, kind of?
I think it could go with food.
Yeah, this is that kind of bullshit food wine thing, right? Usually people say that when they're trying to hide the fact that it's bad wine. So this is Trousseau Gris. Give this guy a good vigorous swirl. This needs to breathe a little bit. I like this wine because I like its verve. It's got this kind of rosy hue, right? I mean, so this is but it not only does it look brassy, but it kind of tastes brassy and metallic at the same time. I like that in white wines. I've had this wine now for about 2 years here, and I think that it keeps getting better.
Oh, you're right.
So this is Orange Traube. This may be the most obscure of all the varietals that we're tasting tonight, because there's probably only, I think I saw that there were less than 3 hectares of this planted in the world. It's related to Riesling somewhere way back in its dirty parentage, right? Riesling got busy with something else, and Orange Traube ends up. What do you think?
I love it.
It doesn't have any almost tastes effervescent. It almost tastes like there's
That's because that wine would strip the fucking chrome off a trailer hitch, right? I mean, it is so acidic, right? That is probably like 3.1 pH, right? I mean that's like drop its pH a little bit and you could make some ceviche. It's not as generously fruited as Riesling. It's not as kind of giving as Chenin Blanc. It doesn't have the minerality and the soul of a Sauvignon Blanc, but it has its own little thing. And that's what makes it worthwhile on its own, is that it is its own thing. And it's unique and rare and fun. Yeah. Last wine, Assyrtiko. This is from the island of Santorini. Usually if people see a picture of Greece, it's the Parthenon or it's a picture of Santorini. Again, almost violently acidic, right? Little bit more lemon, little bit more maybe grassy kind of hayishness to it, but light, crisp, zippy. Imagine having this with the day's catch of whatever the hell came out of the ocean. That is what this wine is made for. If they let it sit on the vine very long, the grape starts to actually prematurely oxidize on the vine. It is really oxygen sensitive. So that means that drink the wine now. If you buy it, drink it like this year. Don't let it get old. It's not going to get better. Questions? What was your favorite wine of the night? First one?
first or the second.
What?
I like this one.
Cinsault?
Yeah.
The Trousseau?
Those are the two best.
Cool. See, you're 7 wines in, 93 to go, 92 to go. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you had a good time.
Thank you.